United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Roll call, Mr. Lombard.
Cullum.
Yes.
Odie is absent. Saxer.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes.
All right, if there are no changes or amendments that need to be made, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. There are no conflict of interest disclosure or waiver requests this evening. That takes us to approval of the minutes from the regular meetings that we had on September 9th and September 23rd. I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Community input? I don't believe we have any this evening. Takes us to financial items, bills and claims. Mr. Lombard.
Okay, feel free to ask me any specific questions you have on the listing of bills. I had a couple noted throughout the listing somewhere. Page 8, JB Surfacing, Inc., tennis court resurfaced, $67,900. One half of that is reimbursed by the city of Brandon. First payment to Pesca Construction on page 12, $326,601. Page 13, we all know when Mr. Frecking's busy, when we see the Reading bus line list about a half a page long, $29,110 for all the charter bus trips. And then included in this bill listing, there's about $20,000 of officials and game workers in there too. Also on page 13, the wrestling mat, $11,763. That is reimbursed by the Booster Club. Page 15, Teach Well Solutions had their quarterly billing of $282,000 for a total bills of $1,376,348. The advance payments breakdown of $5,741 is listed. Pay vouchers of $86,546. And food service bills of $232,350.
Any questions on the bills and claims this evening? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented, please.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Financial report, Mr. Lombard.
Okay, the cash report for the month of September has some very large numbers in it. Coming into the month, we had $9.1 million. Receipts for the month are $28,846,000. Disbursements were $5,685,000, leaving $32.3 million at the end of September. That's the bond proceeds came in the month of September. $6.3 million was in the general fund, $678,000 in the special education fund, $359,000 in the bond redemption fund, $24,000 in the enterprise fund, and $24,950,000 in the capital projects fund. You can also see that the capital projects fund paid back the temporary loan to the capital outlay fund of just under $1 million. The receipts are itemized on the next two pages. Total receipts on the certificate issue were just a shade over 26 million, with $23.1 million of bonds issued, the difference being the premiums that were collected. The next report is the investment report of $3.7 million. South Dakota Fit. We have, since the end of August, when the capital outlay came in, we have invested that into a ladder of CDs with First National Bank. You'll see that next month. Payroll, the first payroll of the 24-25 school year, $2,911,000. And then the first quarter financial reports. First page is the revenue, 25%, like I said, first quarter, 25% of the fiscal year. The revenue numbers don't really pan out on a quarterly basis, but I did note that with our enrollment as it is, that'll be a plus to the school district over budget of about $385,000. The next pages are the expenditure reports. The general fund, you can see it 24.16% expended, so right on a quarterly basis. Special education fund was a little low compared to last year. Teachwell didn't have their quarterly billing in at the end of the quarter, so we were missing that from last year to this year. And then the food service statement, $119,000 loss as opposed to $96,000 at the same time last year. And also our first capital projects fund statement includes just the bond issuance fees and the architect fees are the main expenses there. You'll see this monthly for the next 2 years then. That's all I have. Trust and agency statement, $275,800.
Any questions for Mr. Lundberg tonight on the financial report? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the financial report as presented, please.
So moved.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lundberg. Takes us to our general business section, administration reports, administrative center, Superintendent Larson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple items to update the board on here this evening. Continue to work through our strategic planning process, look to have that to the Board of Education for approval again, looking at that December timeframe. Enrollment count as of this fall, we are up 114 students for an enrollment of 5,130. That number can only go down, so you don't have the ability to add to an enrollment in the event of a data discrepancy, but they can pull a kiddo out. That may happen in the event of like an overlap with an outside agency or something like that. So it's a pretty firm number, so I would expect us to be right in this general vicinity. East Side Elementary construction continues. Look forward to later on in the agenda formalizing our name for that, but can tell you that dirt is turning and burning and looking at underground utilities as well as foundations beginning and getting going. So certainly appreciate the city of Brandon working with us as we work through that respective process with zoning and all of those respective things. So at this point in time, no change to the East Side Elementary construction project. Again, work continues throughout this year as well as the 25-26 school year, open in the fall of 2026. Scheduled release of the Department of Education report card here is later this week, so the public will have access to all of that respective information. And then the Board of Education will receive an update at the State of the Schools address in November. Again, quick highlight of the Brandon Community Foundation Oak and Vine event. As you guys are aware, Building a Brighter BV is a collaborative community project that our high school has engaged with, where they are constructing the cabins for a local business, Yogi Bear. If you happen to drive out towards the road here, towards Split Rock, you would see those two respective cabins going up. They're making great progress. For every cabin that they produce for that local vendor, then the Community Foundation has provided a monetary donation. And then, of course, the Community Foundation reinvests back within our community with nonprofits through their foundation fund. So exciting opportunity to engage with the Community Foundation at Oak and Vine. Retired BV staff holiday luncheon will be held on Thursday, December 5th. Would certainly invite any members of the Board of Education that are able to attend. It's a well-attended event, gives us a great opportunity to connect with retired staff members, provide district happenings and updates, and keep them engaged in the respective educational process that we got going on. So if you're available, stop and join us at the Retired BV Staff Holiday Luncheon. Just a couple of academic calendar items. Today, we did not have school. We had in-service for our annual data dig. Appreciate our staff and all their respective work with that. And then just note that there is no school on November 11th. That is in observance of Veterans Day. Please note that our Board of Education meeting is moved to Tuesday, the 12th at 6:30. No school November 27th through the 29th for Thanksgiving. And then our winter break is outlined for your review. 2-hour early dismissal on December 20th. No school December 23rd through January 1st. With that, would also just note the FY24 teacher compensation report came in from the Department of Education. Extremely good information for the Brandon Valley School District. Number one in the state of South Dakota for average teacher comp for FY24. So you can see here that our 2024 average teacher comp, just over $85,000. Certainly proud of that data point and proud of our commitment to pouring our resources into the classroom and into our teachers. So again, we met the average teacher compensation accountability, and certainly proud of where we're prioritizing our funds. Would certainly yield to Mr. Lundberg if he has any comments on that respective report. Other than that, I have nothing further.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Superintendent Larson? All right, thank you very much. Mr. Lundberg, anything additional tonight? Okay. High school, Mr. Schleckaway? All right, middle school, Dr. Nelson? Intermediate school, Mr. Skibsted? Quiet bunch. Special services, Mrs. Otime or Mrs. Mutter? Nothing? Okay, elementaries, anyone? Anyone? Okay. Mrs. Nelson or Mr. Henschel, anything? Okay, and Mr. Frecking, I do not see, okay. All right, no board policy takes us to general business. Item number 1, approve the proposed framework for additional issuance of limited tax capital outlay certificates, Series 2024.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Previously, we had reviewed the capital outlay situation with our new elementary school construction site and what that respective bid looks like. Went through a 2-phased approach to the next 5 years with the additional issuance of some capital outlay certificates within that authorization that we'd already received. So $6 million for additional middle school classrooms, kitchen expansion, locker room expansion, wrestling room expansion, $1 million in operations for HVAC and asphalt, $500,000 in infrastructure, and $500,000 for fees, ARC fees, engineering fees, testing fees, et cetera. And then the second phase is 5 years later with the utilization of that capital outlay cash that we had previously outlined for phase 2 at the middle school, as well as the outdoor activities complex update, as well as the Performing Arts Center update. So would certainly field any questions that you have. Again, I would just outline that it's a framework, and when we talk about that, depending on how bids come in for the middle school, the exact issuance or the exact amount of the second issuance may change slightly from that $8 million, but that'll be depending a little bit on numbers and market rates, but looking to get approval for the framework so we can get started within the process.
Any questions this evening on this item? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. General business item number 2, approve a resolution authorizing the name Berkman Valley Elementary School for the new Brandon Valley School District East Side Elementary School as presented.
So a resolution authorizing the name Berkman Valley Elementary School for the new Brandon Valley School District East Side Elementary School, whereas the Brandon Valley School District Board of Education, located in the South Dakota County of Minnehaha, authorizes the name of the new East Brandon Elementary School, Berkman Valley Elementary School, as outlined below, effective October 15th, 2024. Whereas the land purchase agreement dated December 11th, 2012 outlines naming rights for the school constructed on the site to include Berkman Memorial within the school name, whereas Mr. Greg Odie, a valued member of the Brandon Valley Board of Education for over 18 years, served as the school district liaison to the Berkman family as directed by the committee facilitator and successfully collaborated with the Berkman family to bring forward for committee consideration the name Berkman Valley Elementary School, or BVE. And whereas the recommended name incorporates and honors the community of Valley Springs and the Brandon Valley School District, in addition to including the contractual required naming rights clause as modified and agreed upon with the Berkman family. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Brandon Valley School District Board of Education, the name of the new East Side Brandon Elementary School located at 300 North Sunshine Avenue, Brandon, South Dakota, be named Berkman Valley Elementary School. It is further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be recorded in the official meeting minutes and be available for public review at the Brandon Valley School District Administration Center. Recommend approval.
So moved.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 3, administrative recommendation for approval. Consider the designation of the new East Side Elementary Community Room as the Gene Johnson Brandon Community Foundation Room as presented.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to extend a thank you to Jack Van Loer and extending this item for consideration. Also would like to thank him for highlighting the Building a Brighter BV program within his respective request. Certainly appreciate all that the Community Foundation does for the community of Brandon. Also appreciate the fact that we have supported their endeavors to really provide a holistic experience for our kiddos as we prioritize our community within Building a Brighter BV. And then lastly, would just note that in addition to the proposed designation, he outlines that they would like to also recognize the founding board members as well within that respective location and designation. Certainly believe that the strength of the relationship that can exist with the Community Foundation is really in the fact that it's in perpetuity. It's a foundation, and year in and year out, they support the nonprofits of our local community. So certainly recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Items 4 and 5, I would entertain a motion to approve those as presented, please. There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Personnel, I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 22 as presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Items 23, 24, and 25 are for information only. Under Communications, Central Office, building permits are there for your review if you choose to do so. Board of Education, there is a thank you note for us to review at your leisure. And board reports, does anyone have a formal board report this evening they would like to share?
Mine is a quick reminder, thanks to Dr. Larson's efforts in putting together on the schedule for the upcoming ASBSD dinner. It's really to learn with Larson is what we're calling it. That is our Executive Director Heath Larson will be coming to town at Brandon Valley, inviting also others within the region to join us. But we will be hosting here on Wednesday, October 30th. So does everybody in the room and within the district that would like to attend. 5:30 is dinner, and 6 o'clock will be the meeting. And it's really to ask questions, not only around ASBSD, but also to be asking questions about maybe what's coming up in this next legislative session. So we'd really like to have you all attend and join us for that, especially just as we're hosting others around the region and other school districts. So please put that on your calendar. Again, Wednesday, October 30th. And really would just like to show the other Larson what great hosts we are.
Alternative Ed meets tomorrow night. Nothing new to report there. Does anyone else have a formal board report tonight they'd like to share? All right, hearing none, there are a couple travel reports for review to look at. That takes us to the end of our scheduled agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming tonight.